Deep beneath Iranian soil, the message is unmistakable. On Wednesday, Iran's top military commander stepped inside an underground missile base operated by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Cameras followed Major General Abdolrahim Musavi as he inspected rows of weapons carved into rock. And for the first time, Iranian state-linked footage revealed something new: a long-range Khorramshahr-4 missile, a heavy warhead system, displayed inside an underground facility. The Khorramshahr missile is more than hardware. It is history, symbolism, and warning rolled into one. Named after a city destroyed in the Iran-Iraq War, and also known as Khaybar, after a 7th century fortress, the missile blends ideology with deterrence. Unveiled in May 2023, the Khorramshahr-4 stands 13 meters tall and carries a reported range of 2,000 kilometers, enough to reach Israel and U.S. military bases across the Middle East. Iran claims it can deliver a massive 1,500-kilogram warhead, signaling a focus on destructive power rather than distance. Powered by liquid fuel with rapid acceleration and a maneuverable warhead, the missile is designed to challenge modern missile defenses. Tested since 2017 and reportedly used in strikes against Israel in 2024 and 2025, Khorramshahr-4 represents the sharp edge of Iran's missile doctrine, where technology, memory, and message converge. The images were meant to be broadcast tonight on Iranian state television. They never aired. Just hours later, state TV abruptly pulled the report, citing national security considerations.
I would like to inform you that a report regarding the unveiling of yet another of the IRGC's missile cities, which was scheduled to be broadcast tonight during the 8:30 and 9 p.m. news programs, will not be aired due to the strict observance of military and security considerations. But I must inform you that the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, accompanied by the commander of the IRGC Aerospace Force, inspected the readiness of one of the strategic missile units belonging to the IRGC Aerospace Force. He stated, "Iran has significantly strengthened its deterrent power by upgrading its ballistic missiles across all technical dimensions." Major General Musavi, emphasizing our readiness to confront any action from the enemy, stated, "Following the 12-day war, we thoroughly revised our defensive doctrine and subsequently transformed it into an offensive doctrine, which is now based on a lightning-fast and sustained operational approach by adopting asymmetric and crushing military strategies."
The timing is impossible to ignore, because as the missiles went underground, diplomacy above ground began to unravel. Iran-U.S. nuclear talks scheduled for Friday are now collapsing. According to senior U.S. officials cited by Israeli and American media, Tehran backed away from previously reached understandings, demanding last-minute changes to both the location and the format of the talks. Washington said no. The meeting was supposed to take place in Istanbul, with regional countries observing. Iran wanted it moved to Oman. Iran wanted it bilateral. Iran wanted missiles off the table. The U.S. rejected the demands. This or nothing, one senior official told Axios. Iran chose nothing. Behind the scenes, the White House is recalculating. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and presidential advisor Jared Kushner are expected to travel to Qatar, not to meet Iran, but to consult regional partners before returning home. U.S. officials say patience is running out. If there is to be a deal, they insist it must be real. No side agreements, no delays, no narrowing the agenda. And if diplomacy fails, the implication is clear. President Donald Trump has repeatedly warned that military options remain on the table. Which brings the focus back underground. A missile base revealed, then hidden, A broadcast canceled, talks collapsing, red lines hardening. Iran says the images were pulled for national security, but the signal has already been sent. As diplomacy stalls, Iran is reminding the world what lies beneath the surface. The distance between negotiation and confrontation feels shorter than ever.
In Egypt, we are firmly of the opinion that any form of external intervention, particularly concerning our neighbor Iran, would pose very significant and serious risks for the stability of the entire region as a whole. Furthermore, we strongly believe that the resolution of all outstanding issues with Iran, including the complex nuclear file, through peaceful and diplomatic channels, remains the most accurate and appropriate path forward for everyone who is involved in this process.
The stage is set, but expectations are collapsing. As Iran and the United States prepare for talks this Friday, regional officials are already bracing for failure. Behind closed doors, Middle Eastern diplomats say hopes are being downgraded, sharply. What was once framed as a chance to cool tensions is now being described as little more than an exchange of ideas with no real outcomes. Some officials go further, warning that diplomacy may only be delaying the inevitable. According to the Wall Street Journal, there is growing resignation across the region that a military confrontation may be unavoidable. And the scope of these talks is already shrinking. Reuters reports that negotiations in Oman will focus solely on Iran's nuclear program. Missiles? Off the table. Regional militias? Not up for discussion. Tehran has drawn its lines, and it's refusing to cross them. But even as diplomats talk, Iran is sending a very different signal. In what the Wall Street Journal calls a last-minute curveball, Tehran has combined diplomacy with provocation. A planned multilateral meeting in Turkey was abruptly abandoned. In its place, Iran pushed for narrow bilateral talks with Washington, limited, controlled, and tightly framed. At the same time, Iranian forces flew a drone toward a U.S. aircraft carrier. Gunboats confronted a U.S.-flagged oil tanker. The message was unmistakable. Pressure first, talks later. U.S. officials say diplomacy is still on the table, for now. The White House confirms talks remain scheduled, but behind the scenes, frustration is building. Iranian officials have threatened to walk away altogether. Some in Washington say President Trump has considered doing the same. The divide is fundamental. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has made Washington's position clear. Any meaningful deal, he says, must include Iran's ballistic missile program. Without that, there is no breakthrough, only delay.
Look, I think in order for talks to actually lead to something meaningful, they will have to include certain things. And that includes the range of their ballistic missiles. That includes their sponsorship of terrorist organizations across the region. That includes the nuclear program, and that includes the treatment of their own people. As far as the talks are concerned, I think the Iranians had agreed to a certain format. For whatever reason, it's changed in their system or what have you. We'll see if we can get back to the right place. But the United States is prepared to meet with them. I think it was scheduled for Friday. Steve is ready to go. He'll be prepared for that. If the Iranians want to meet, we're ready. They've expressed an interest in meeting and talking. If they change their mind, we're fine with that too. We prefer to meet and talk. I'm not sure you can reach a deal with these guys, but we're going to try to find out. We don't see there's any harm in trying to figure out there's something that can be done. This is a president that always prefers a peaceful outcome to any conflict or any challenge.
President Trump, officials insist, has clear red lines. The talks may happen, the cameras may roll, but with expectations sinking, tensions rising, and warships still in position, the question is no longer whether diplomacy is fragile, it's whether it still has time left at all.